Alright, so today's LIIT training will feature hand weights and working with your vestibular system and your vision. So moving your head around to create a little disturbance to challenge that inner ear. So you're going to need 2 sets of hand weights, and we're going to do 5 exercises repeated 3 times, total of 15, 40 seconds of activity, 20-second rest for each one. And I'll take you through each of the exercises first to kind of warm you up and show you how they work, and then we'll start the timer and we'll get moving. If any of these are new or difficult, feel free to use a lighter weight or opt out or modify, and just use the timer as a structure and a challenge, but don't force yourself to do it, okay? So first, grab your lighter set of hand weights just to warm up and get used to it. This is a compound movement, so you're going to be combining several moves at once. So first, there's a squat curl. So your weights are by your side, and as you squat down, you curl. So just try that a few times. So you squat as you curl. So your hips go down, your hands go up. Now, adding this next part, so you squat, then you overhead press. And then you come down, down. So squat, curl, overhead press, and then you come back down. Squat, curl, overhead press, come back down, return. Just like that, all right. Now, next one, you can put your weights to the side. This one's gonna be more of a balance challenge. And if you wanna have something to hang on to nearby, you can. These are simply star steps. So you're going to step to the side and you reach arms, legs out. You step to the other side, arms come out. So you can kind of feel the core engaged to keep your sides strong, your back strong, and just 40 seconds of star steps. So if you're doing it 20 seconds and your back starts to get sore, just stop, rest, and modify, don't push it, okay? Now the third one, this one also, if you're having spinal vulnerabilities, be extra careful with this one. These are core twists. So it's kind of like the Russian twist, but you're going to do it with a standing position. So you can do this with 1 weight or with 2, with light or heavy, it kind of depends. So start off with something light, and you take the weight and you keep it really, really close to your body. Okay, and then you just squat down a little, and then you just twist. You just kind of rotate like this. Now, if your weight is really light, you won't really feel anything happening. So then you may want to, maybe in the second or third round, bump up the weights a little bit until you feel a little bit more. Now, this is not something you're going to do quickly or forcefully. This is a slow, steady, controlled rotation. And again, you can opt out if you're having any back flare-ups or pain. No need to push this. You could do an alternative. Okay, core twist. Now this next one, you're gonna do a very light set of weights. And this is a tandem star walk, okay? So first, let's practice the legs. So you go out, in, out, in. So your leg kind of goes out like the star step, but then it lands in the tandem. So you end up with this kind of disturbance to your balance. You can do it backward if you want. And you have to land in a very narrow stance. Now, to make it both harder and easier at the same time, you can bring your opposite arm out with a light weight, if you like. So it makes it harder because your shoulders now have to work, but easier because you actually counterbalance a little bit. So the tandem star walk. Whew. A lot going on here. So your vestibular system, inner ear, having to work overtime. Especially if you go backward, you're challenging your non-visual balance. All right, and then the last one, we'll end with something classic. Sit to stand with an overhead press. So you'll just grab a chair, have a weight, and bring it to the collarbones. Sitting at the edge of your chair, the weight stays at your collarbones as you stand up and sit back down. You'll have an option here if you want to do an overhead press as well. Totally fine. Okay, so those are the 5 exercises. So hopefully you've warmed up a little bit now through those. And then we're gonna do them 1 minute each. 40 seconds on, 20-second rest, 3 times. So 15 total. All right, so remember, sometimes the best exercise is exercising good judgment, exercising restraint. So if there's something hurting, don't push it, find an alternative, and don't have to force it. Okay, with that being said, we'll start with our curls. So get your set of weights, and you can change these as you go. You're going to squat as you curl, and then overhead press. Squat, curl, overhead press. Squat, curl, lift, lower. Squat as you curl, and you can choose kind of how far to squat too. Down, up. So there's a lot of moving parts here, so don't worry if you get your coordination off a little. You can always just start again at the beginning. All right, there we go. And take your first rest period. And then we'll get into our star steps next. If you're having a little tricky time with balance, you can use a balance bar for these. That's okay, or just have a wall nearby. Okay, 40 seconds of star steps. You step out, hands float, other way. It's okay to turn your toes out just a little bit. It'll make it a little bit easier because you'll recruit the quads, but if you do it straight sideways where your toes point forward, you'll recruit the outer hips. Ultimately, that's going to be better for your balance long term, to build up these outer hips. So work your way into parallel stance eventually. But everything has a point of diminished return, so sometimes less is more. Nicely done. Tap your hips out. That was tricky. Good. So an alternative to the core twist, if you're not enjoying that twisting motion, you could do a seated sit-up instead. So if you're wanting that instead of the twist, you could do seated sit-ups. If you're okay with the core twist, take your weights, keep them really close, and then you just rotate left and right. And you engage your core, activate your tummy. And especially if you have a hefty weight here, you're going to feel your core working pretty hard. If you have light weights, you'll have to do this for a while to feel any fatigue. So it's a good time to check. If you don't feel any tiredness by the end of each of these rounds, you're ready for another pound or two on your weights. We want a progressive overload. It's how you build strength. All right, rest. Good, and then the tandem star walk. This can be done without any weights or with a light set. It's good to have really light ones because certain movements, you don't need heavy weights to challenge yourself. So you step out, in. Your leg goes way out to the side as the other arm goes out to the side. And then you land in a tandem step, heel toe. And if you want to challenge, you can even try backwards. Keep that core really strongly engaged the whole time. All right, well done. Take a rest, and then sit to stand with your overhead press. I'm going to try a heavier weight for this one. So keeping that weight close to you when you're standing and sitting. We're looking to get your heart rate up to those high 90s, low 100s at least. For most people, that's zone 2. You can still talk, but you have to kind of breathe every sentence or two. Your body's warm. That moderate intensity zone is where the magic happens. And rest. Okay, let's do it again. So we'll come back to your squat curls with overhead press. If you're wanting a little bit more of a challenge this round, you could bump up your weights for this one. And begin. So you squat down as you lift, overhead press, squat down and up. So there's almost like 2 squats in each movement. You squat, lift, squat, lift. Good. And I get these mixed up too sometimes, so don't worry. If your ups and your downs get mixed up, that's okay. So hips down, hips up, hips down, hips up. One more. Nicely done. And rest. Good work. You're not going to join us? You're just going to take a nap over there? He's like, leave me alone. All right. Star steps. So standing in one place, stepping out, balance. Other side, balance. If you can keep your feet parallel, gluteus medius, gluteus minimus, tensor fascia lata, the TFL, the outer hip muscle and tendons and fascia get really strong and active. You want a nice, delicious, searing heat. Not searing, maybe not scorching, toasty warm, how about? Not burning, just crispy. All right, tap, tap, tap. Those outer hips though, this is one of the most important tools you have to protect yourself and to keep yourself balanced. Core twist, and you can play around with how much weight and keep it close to your body, core engaged, and you just rotate. It's like you're giving a big bear hug to those weights and you're just, I love you so much, shake, shake, shake. Keep it close to your body and all those spinal erector muscles, all the skeletal muscles can strengthen close to your torso. Good. It's not forceful. You're not launching yourself out of control. You're keeping it tight. And rest. Tandem star walk. Lighter set of weights for this one, for sure. Especially if you're keeping the elbows straight. The shoulders are going to work hard. And you're going to pick a line. Take your leg way out to the side, the opposite hand goes out too, and then they meet back in the middle in a very narrow stance. Tandem walk, star step. So don't worry if you're wiggling and wobbling around like crazy. It doesn't mean something's wrong. We're trying to make that happen. We're trying to create wiggles and wobbles within a safe and supported system so you can sharpen your balance up. All right, rest. And if you need those outer hips, pat some of the flames out. And then find your chair. Take probably the heaviest weight you've got. Sit to stand, overhead press, begin. Now, if your knees hurt, instead of doing sit to stands, you could just do half squats or an isometric hold. You're going to build your strength that way without rubbing your knees too much. Totally fine. Make your legs toasty warm. Okay, round 2 in the bag. Nicely done. We got one more round. We're gonna do it all over again. Take that rest period if you need to stretch or sit or move around a little bit. Let's do our squat, curl, overhead press. So sink your hips as you curl up. Lift the weights as you stand up. Squat down and then lower. Good. So the hips go down, hips go up, hips go down with the weights, hips go up as the weights go down. So you're creating basically like 2 squats within this movement. Stick your butt out, sink your hips, build that strength in your glutes and hamstrings. One more. Beautiful. And rest. If you're not breathing heavy, your weights are too light for that one. You can hear my breathing. So you want to have enough weight that you're a little bit out of breath by now. Whoops. Star steps, you actually don't need weights, so just step and fly. Whoops. Getting mixed up here. There we go. Yeah, you actually don't need to change your foot. You can just rock from side to side. Remember, if you turn your toe forward or even internally rotate it a little, those outer hips are going to wake up, maybe for the first time in a while. Especially by the 3rd round. Sometimes it's easier on the 3rd round. This one probably harder. These small muscles aren't used to it. All this activity, right? Tap it out. But having a strong muscle around here protects your bones too. All right, core twists. Take the weight that feels right to you. Keep it close to the body. Really press it into your body. Sink a little and then gently twist. And engage your core. It's almost like a standing Russian twist. Building strength around the spine. Give your weights a nice big hug. Good squeeze, good shake. Hang in there. All right, rest. Okay. Get your lighter set now for the kind of funny walk. This one belongs in Monty Python's funny walk sequence. You're going to do the tandem star walk. So you step your foot way out and in, and the other hand goes out and in, and you land on a balance beam. And option to even do it backwards. This one also requires quite a bit from your core, so keep that firm as you're doing it. There's no rush. You're not trying to get anywhere with this one, so just quality. More important than quickness. All right, and our last one, sit to stand overhead press. Probably get a heavy weight. Single one is okay. Catch your breath. Take the weight to the collarbones. Tuck the chin. Plant your heels. Push down. And press up. Now one trick too, if your knees hurt, you can sit on a cushion. Sitting up on a pillow, raising the seat, takes a lot of the angle and pressure off the knees. So that's another option today. Doing great, hang in there. Okay, well done, rest. Have a seat. Nicely done. So hopefully your vestibular system feels a little bit sharper, a little more tuned up. Nice job today.